we're talking about, um, all these players in basketball, what they do, how they have to adjust, the balance, the pressure that, the parents put on them, the coaches put on them, the team puts on them,
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
newspapers, the media puts on them, and the pressure they put on themselves.
Yeah,
If I'm gonna make it to college, and then after that I'm gonna make it to the pros,
yeah.
and then the pros, it's just like everything is happening. So, what do you think about like the mental health of a basketball player on because we know that the higher you go, the more pressure it is,
Yeah, yeah,
and the higher you go, there's more players that play like you or even better.
yeah, absolutely.
So that's pressure right there to be like, okay, well, I need to, my skills need to improve every single year, every single game,
Yeah,
because there's always a player waiting to take your spot.
yeah.
So what do you
Jeez.
think about
Yeah,
the
man.
mental health of a player, of a basketball player?
Um, I think it's very tough to deal with. The better you are as a player, like you said, the more pressure and the more mental strain is on you. For the most part, I would say there's a few things that a player of that magnitude, a player of any magnitude, period, should always have, which is God in your life. So you have a spiritual outlet and a spiritual advisor. I think you should have mentors and leadership. So whether you want to get you a teacher, a father figure or actual father, family, strong support around you to help you go through that grind. And then you just got to lock in and continue to focus on getting better as an individual, because everything else you can't control. You can't control what the next person is going to say about you.
Yeah.
You can't control, the things that might come up and happen on a day-to-day basis. But what you can control is picking your surroundings and finding release points and talking to people and saying, hey, I know I'm touted, but these are the things that I worry about. So I know that they're putting things in place now to kind of help with the mental health, and it is a big thing. You can be stressed out, you can go days without eating and not really pay attention to that stuff. So it's very important, and I would say it's very imperative that just the world just starts to put more of an emphasis on that. It's not easy at all.
I see it as, man, now I think it's more pressure than any now, because the media is so big now that you can have your own IG page in high school and be like
Yeah,
hundreds of thousands of followers. You mess up one game, you weak, you suck, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
It's a kid taking all this in.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you need to know how to balance. You need to, like say, have a mentor so they can talk to you like, okay, this is part of it.
yeah,
And from there, it'll either help you grow to be stronger with the negativity,
Yeah.
or it can break you.
yeah,
And then the pressure of, for me, it was, because college was like, there's always a freshman coming in.
absolutely.
I was one of the main guys. So, well, for me, I was still like, there's a chance
Yeah.
that they can, take my spot. But I've always been the player like, okay, coach says to do it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you can't get in trouble if you do something coach says.
yeah,
You get more trouble not doing what coach says. So do what coach says, you keep your spot.
yeah. It's a tough game, man.
And let me see, you have to win. You don't win, then you're going to get,
Yep.
the calls from people on the outside. And it's just a lot of pressure because, let me see, you don't know what's going to come next.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know if you're going to get hurt. From
Yeah.
college, you don't know if you're going to the next level. Then from next level, it's like, that's a lot of pressure too, because
Yeah.
if not NBA overseas,
Overseas.
then you got the other leagues in the U.S. When it's like, and then from there, where are you going to go from there? I got to have money to feed my family. I got to have money
Yeah.
to feed me. You have NBA players making millions of dollars and going broke less than 5 years after they retire, right?
Yeah.
So what do you think a guy overseas or a guy playing in the States making a little bit of this and that after they stop playing?
Yeah.
Or, off season, where they're going to play next?
Yeah.
They're only going to have that little bit of money they made for that season.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure.
Like, should I get a
To-
regular
to-
job?
to get a next contract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could I get a regular? Because every year there's thousands of
Kids
dudes,
coming. Yeah.
kids coming, taking a spot, probably more hungry, or probably better opportunity, bigger name, bigger college. It's a lot of pressure. And I have to admit, at one point, I dealt with depression on that level, and it was bad. Like, I dropped to like 160. It was bad. I look at pictures now, and I'm like, yo, like, that was the point. That was when I was depressed, man. I was dealing with depression, dude, because it was like, dang, I'm so good. I'm a good player. A good teammate. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a jerk. But it was like, why can't people pick me up? But that's when you gotta learn about the business of everything. Once you step your junior year in high school, it's all a business from there.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, now you're a stock. So
Yeah.
your stock gonna go up or down, or stay the same.
Yeah.
You always wanna have your stock go up. The higher your stock, the better chance you doing something with ball and getting checks for it.
Yeah.
But I think these players need to be taught that, like you said, the mentor, the business of it, the mental pressure that comes with it. But you got to be hella strong. You got to let stuff brush off. That's just how it is with the sports. But it's just mental health is very important. You got to check yourself.
Yeah, you really have to. Again, find outlets other than the particular sport that you do to go ahead and get some of that frustration out. Because you're going to be frustrated. Every game ain't going to be your game. I tell my daughter, every game ain't going to be your game. You might put up 40 for a week straight, and then you struggle against two teams that just have your number.
Yep.
So it's just what it is. Consistency outside of your prospective sport with your loved ones in your circle. Always having a strong support group will always help out. So that's my stance on it.
Yeah. And like you say, you gotta have an outlet. You gotta have a time to step away from the game.
Yeah.
And then come back to it.
Yeah.
And that's why you see the known players that we read the articles like what happened to them. A lot of them dealt with depression. Some of them killed themselves. Some of them went into drugs.
Yeah.
And drinking and stuff like that. And us looking at that is like, oh well, he has all this money. He should, not be depressed. But it's like sometimes it's more the money that people need.
Yeah.
So many stories like that. And a lot of times the players mess up their career because they're mentally, they can't handle the pressure.
Yeah.
So they go backwards.
Yeah.
And from there, the career is done. They have all the talent. So that's why I think the kids need a mentor from, high school all the way up.
Yeah.
So, and a good camp around them to have them give accountability of themselves.
Yeah.
So if you see a boy like, yo, you drinking too much, man, like you in the league, you got a chance to make millions, or you're making millions.
Don't
Put
blow
that down. Yeah, don't blow it. Put that down. Like, we're going to monitor you. And some people say, oh, we don't need a babysitter. Some people do.
Some people do need a babysitter.
Yeah.
And I never understood that. Just like the phrase, you want your cake and eat it too. Well, I'm supposed to do a cake.
Eat that man.
Yeah. But I would say this. So my advice to anybody in any sport is if you can't play for whatever reason, find a way to stay involved. So let's say my dream was to make it to the NBA. Because I didn't make it doesn't mean I just quit basketball as a whole, right? You can always give back or pay it forward.
Yep.
So my main thing is you have to understand that that's just the way life is. Right now, it's 30 teams in the NBA? 30 teams, roughly about 15 people per roster. That 400 or some odd, 460, whatever that number is, 400 plus players in the league. It's under 500. But then how many collegiate or colleges do you have in the United States?
So many.
So I think it's 4,000 or 5,000, 6,000, maybe more, somewhere around there. And those 5,000, let's say it's 5,000. I don't know the exact number. Let's say it's 5,000 colleges, and they all carry 15 men on their roster. But each year in the draft, they only take how many people? 60, two rounds.
Yeah, 2 rounds of 60, 30.
60.
Yep.
That's a whole lot of people who ain't gonna make it.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of people who ain't gonna make it. So there's some overseas options and there's some other things. It doesn't mean that you just quit basketball. You can go back to your college, you can get into coaching, you can get into training, sports medicine, start to build a business around it. Just don't stop because your dream of getting it this far doesn't happen. You can still live within or create a new dream within that. Yeah. So that's my advice. Just keep going. Keep going no matter what. Have a great support group and then keep working.
And that's a good advice too, because when I was in college, my mind wasn't, okay, well, after what am I going to do?
Yeah.
It was like, I'm going to make it and then I'm going to do whatever after.
Yeah.
Because if I thought of like, okay, well, I want to stay around the game and I want to do stuff. I didn't think about that till later on after.
Yeah, man.
So that's why, I went back to school and did like the physical therapy aid thing. So I want to stay around
Yeah.
the basketball thing.
Yeah.
Like when you get to an age where it's like, okay, well, it is what it is, and you just going about your life.
Yeah.
But the kids that don't make it, that's never got a check, that's always wanted a check for playing basketball.
Mm-hmm.
It takes what was it? It takes a toll.
Yeah.
It takes a toll on people.
It's a long journey, bro.
It's a long journey.
It's a long journey.
It's a super long journey. You just gotta grind it out. I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to live a little bit of my dream.
Yeah.
But the people that just don't live it,
Yeah.
like after high school, after college, it's just like I know that sometimes I feel for them
Yeah.
because you
can
can
see
see
it.
it. You can see it.
Dude.
Like I said, some players I played with, like, dude, you can play, but some of them just lost the love for it.
Yeah.
Some of them, they just didn't want to put up with the grind because the grind is crazy.
The grind, yeah.
It's year to year.
Yeah.
If you're not,
and it's all year
Yeah.
when you're trying to make it.
if you're not a huge name,
Yeah.
it's year to year. Matter of fact, it's 6 months at a time.
Yeah.
So you're grinding because there's somebody always out there, and then, oh yeah, you're playing in this spot mid-season. Oh, this kid is coming from this team.
Yeah.
He went to this
So and
school,
so. Yeah.
and his name was this. Then you look him up, and the kid has more, what I'm saying, like more
Yeah.
fame than you.
Yep.
And then you're like, dang.
More cachet.
So they sign him,
Mm-hmm.
trade you. It all goes like that.
Yeah, full circle.
It's a business,
Yeah.
so that's why I got to teach kids. No matter what goes on, it's a business. Handle it like a business.
Yeah.
If you want to get traded for more money, do it.
Yeah.
Because if you try to stay loyal, basketball's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's not like, okay, I'm gonna stay with y'all for 10 years. Y'all been good to me. Nah.
Yeah.
Where's the check at?
Yeah.
Where's the bag? Because that's your job at the end of the day.
Yep.
And you want to keep your job.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like you said, you always got to develop and be better. So if you don't develop and be better and practice at your job, somebody else gonna come in and take your
Yeah.
job
Exactly. Like you said, there's a
get
new
demoted.
person coming all the time.
all the time.
Every year there's a draft. Every year there's high school kids going to college.
Every year.
Every year college kids are graduating trying to get in there. It's the natural order of things. Like if I was younger and healthy, I'd be aiming to take somebody's spot.
Yeah.
I ain't come here to sit down.
Yeah.
I came here to play.
Right.
So, when you on top, you can't be sitting on your laurels all the time.
Yep.
So, and then going back to just in the midst of that grind, trying to make it, it's a grind because you gotta work out on strength and conditioning. Then you gotta work out in the gym to get your physical attributes correct. And then outside of that, you gotta be mentally prepared. You gotta learn game plan. You gotta learn how to execute.
How to be coached.
Yeah, how to be coached, be willing to be coached. You got to have some luck of health, being able to stay healthy, and then hopefully you run into some good people who actually care about you as an individual and who can open up doors for you.
Yep.
So it's a multifaceted layer of trying to make it.
Yeah.
You need all those things to fall into place.
And on top of that, if you're not like the main guy, unless you have parents with money, you need money yourself.
You need money yourself to
and
eat.
you probably got a job on top of all that. When people work out, they do it for hours.
Yeah.
Go home, sleep, but then you got to work. You got to have a job.
Yeah,
So it's just like, okay, all this is going on, and all that's just straight pressure.
yeah,
Like, what's going to happen next? So, yeah, the depression is a mental health. Depression. Mental health is a big thing
yeah,
in sports. It's all around sports, but we're talking about the basketball aspect, and that's just because you got to do with if you're making millions of dollars, then you got people asking for money.
yeah,
You got the hoes at the groupies.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got all that, but that's why you got to have a strong mental. You got to
Yeah.
have. No one's perfect, but you got to have that spiritual connection to just step back
yeah.
and let God work. Because
Yeah.
if you don't have that, you're gonna crumble every single time.
I'm not sure if teams do this. They probably do. I just don't know about it. And even in the leagues, I think they should mandate, even on the college level, I think they should mandate that the team actually go through mental health protocols,
Yes.
maybe
Yes.
once every 3 months, once every 2 months, or whatever the case may be.
Like a team, when they have like a shooting coach, a strength and conditioning coach.
Yeah,
They should
a
have
mental health
a
coach,
mentor,
a mental guy.
a mentor coach that deals
With that,
with,
you can go talk to them.
yeah,
The
the
door's
mental
always
health part
open.
of it. Yeah, the door's
Yeah.
always open.
You go do that.
And I've actually talked to, at my old college, the AD,
Mm-hmm.
athletic director, like, yo, like, if you guys ever have a position for, a mentor
It just
for
needs to be
in the
created.
basketball program,
Yeah.
I would do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because I know what these kids are going through.
Yeah,
And that's just on the D2 level.
yeah,
I know the D1 level is just crazy.
Yeah.
So if you deal with that on D2 level, just
Imagine.
imagine what's going on here
Yeah.
in the NBA. So that's why a lot of these dudes be wilding out. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So, because we look at it like, dang, why he wilding out? But
You never know.
when you
Again.
understand it, you're like, yeah, something happened
yeah.
that he wilded out like
Think
that.
about it, on that collegiate level, they're away from home. That might be their first time being away from home.
Yep.
Stuff might be going on back home,
Yep.
that got their mind. School work or school load.
Yep.
Um,
And they're young.
Yeah, and then you got somebody who you're trying to get playing time, or maybe you're trying to keep your starting job, or whatever the case may be. The travel, it's a lot. So it's important to have a guy or a girl or whoever, just staff, to be able to handle those and to be able to go to as a player and say, hey, I'm dealing with this, whatever. So
And that goes, you got to have good teammates too.
yeah,
If you're on a team full of jerks and you're going through something, that's going to make it worse.
yeah,
If you got a team full of, good people, that you can just be like, you know what, dude, I'm going through something right now.
but you
That
would
can
hope
sit there
that.
and talk that.
Yeah.
Like, it should be able to do that. That's why I think the coaches need to monitor how the team reacts to each other.
How the team is built, but
Yeah.
there's only so much they can control.
So
Like I
much,
said,
yeah.
you can't
Yeah,
control
can't control
who's on the team and whatnot, but yeah, so, I agree that there has to be things that need to begin to be put in place.
Yeah.